Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. It's either custom 2v2 tournament action or it's 2v2 ladder action, and I don't know which one it is. In my defense, it's not really my fault. I mean, it is my fault because the person who sent it in probably told me at the time, and I apologize for that. And I've got so many messages. You see, I note down the replay ID when I find one I kind of like, and I put it to the side, but I don't always remember to do the extra information with it. But in my defense, when you look it up in the FAF vault, I'm not convinced it lists the game mod that it's played under correctly when it's a 2v2 ladder. I think it just comes up with a generic FAF thing. So that's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. I know you will all forgive me because you're such adorable and loving people, and it's the way it goes. First of all, before we get to that action though, message coming in from Rowie from the promotional side of things on FAF. He wanted to let everybody know that the FAF YouTube channel, and yes, that is a thing, it does have its own official channel. It's not dead, and it's coming back in a big way. They've already done a feature video based off a stream a few days ago, where they went through all of the updates and things in the upcoming patch. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's going on the balance side of things and the game in general, probably a great place to go and check it out. And there will be more content coming soon as well. So if you want to check that out, guys, link in the description below this video. If it's not there, you know what to do. Yell at me in the comments until I make it so, and I will. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get on with today's game. As we said, it's a 2v2 of some description, and it's going down on Zerg Canyon. How very exciting. I think that's a new one for us. I'm ready. You guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ching, ka-ching. All right, let's check this one out. I love it. This feels Zergy. It feels like Char, doesn't it? Sort of. I don't know. That's going right back to first StarCraft, showing my age a little bit there. Right, let's check it out. This will be Team 1 up here at the top. This will be Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1. Up here, going this season's very fashionable UEF. How very sensible. It's Laissez-Faire. I see what he did there, and he's going mellow yellow, opening first land. And his teammate for today over here on the far right-hand corner, top right-hand corner, in his classic unstimulated self. There he is. It's Floppy, going a very characteristic cyber in there, and Ferrari Red opening first land. Alright, let's check out Team 2 down here at the bottom left. We have Superintendent, just needs a Charmers on the end there, doesn't it? Superintendent Charmers. There he is anyway, and he is going Cybrin in baby blue, opening first land. And last but not least, over here, teammate for Team 2, another Cybrin, so 3 out of 4 playing Cybrin today. In Elephantine Grey, going first air, interesting decision. Obviously a fan of blue flames hanging about in woods. It's Will-O-Wisp, there he is. Checking things out there, getting the hydro sorted. So, map, very interesting. Yeah, I can't think I've ever casted this one before. Definitely might be a new one. Answers in the comment section below if you think I'm right on that, or if you're pretty sure I'm wrong. Chances are I am. For all of you Scree and Woodland junkies out there who love to know where these things are littered, those are the reclaim stats and where it's all located. Big old bunches up here in the middle and around the cliff edge is all of the usual places that you would expect to find them. Little mountain range at the top left and bottom right hand corners with assorted rocks and what have you. Lots and lots of 10s, a few 40s kicking around in there. Oh, they're not rocks, in fact, they're giant blue crystals. That's it. Maybe that's the Protoss. Something to do with the Protoss, maybe. Actually, no, did Char have giant blue crystals? Maybe that's what that's about. Is that a nod to it? But anyway, such is life. That's what we've got. Early T1 bomber straight off the conveyor belt there for Will-O-Wisp on Team 2. He's not wasting any time. Gets the bomber out first and then gets the scout plane. Always the sensible way around to do it if you're a newbie. Why? Because the scout plane flies faster. So by the time that your bomber gets up there, you can already get a decent bit of intel and know where you're dropping that payload. It's going to go straight over the top of Laissez-Faire. I might just call him Laissez-Faire anyway because it's easier to say. Lots of vulnerable engineers clumped up in between the factories there, and he's going to bag 2 of them on that first bombing run. But there's already a defending interceptor in the air, so there won't be a second bombing run on that front. Good coverage there from Laissez-Faire. Apologies, you can hear my dog barking in the background. Very upset. His wife left him recently, took the squirrels. Pet squirrels. Personally, I'm happy to have them out of the house. Lots and lots of T1 P-Gens queued up there for Will-O-Wisp down in the bottom section of the screen. Let's take a quick look and see if he's suffering on the power front. That's why he's queued up quite so many. Well, it doesn't seem like it's that bad. Usually when you get maps with huge quantities of mass in easy accessible reach of the starting locations, maybe tons and tons of reclaim, certainly lots and lots of mass extractors, you've got to go all in on the T1 P-Gens just to keep your power balance in operation, because chances are that's the bottleneck and what have you. Little scout plane for laissez-faire, getting the intel for Team 1. You can see that that's what they could see so far. And they just clipped the edge of Superintendent's base. Will-O-Wisp, the highest rated player in this game at 1552. Superintendent at 1684. But like I say, I think these might be 2v2 ladder ranking scores, not global ranking scores. I'm leaning towards the fact that this is a 2v2 ladder. Can't be 100% sure, but that's based purely on the fact that before this game started, I checked out their global ranking scores, and Superintendent has charged somewhat, but that could have been, you know, down to some serious activity and some good wins on his part in the meantime. So who's to say, really? Little exchange on the ground. We'll go completely even, actually, which counts as a win, really, for the Cybran. There on Team 2. Fewer HP gives UEF tanks the advantage in even exchanges. A couple of units for Superintendent swatted there. That'll pave the way for an engineer to go about his merry mechs building business without too much difficulty. Key places to grab, of course, in this strategically would be lovely to control the middle for either team. These two plateaus here, a couple of mexes apiece, but defensible positions where you could conceivably cause all sorts of problems, although they're not particularly high. It's not going to afford you masses of protection. Terrible place to land your plane, sir. He agrees, promptly raises off the ground. Gonna evac there with about 80 hit points to his name. What's happening down here in the bottom right hand corner? Floppy and Will-O-Wisp getting into it. Will-O-Wisp seemingly with the numbers here for the time being, but we do have a steady stream of units from both teams, actually, heading from factory to rally point right down here in the bottom right hand corner. But it looks like Floppy is going to regroup after that attack, and we've got an upgrade on the way for Will-O-Wisp. 22% done there on a T2 upgrade. Going to allow him to lock down this area. Getting a lot of ground spam coming his way. It's kind of difficult to find an all-in solid defensive position that's going to shut down this corner, though. Got roots in around the side down on that bottom corner plateau, and then two roots down into the sort of canyon basin down here. That would be nice to hold if you're Floppy. You could shut down this area by holding the ridge and getting some emplacements in there, but not quite such an obvious position for Will-O-Wisp. Cliff's facing in the wrong direction for him. And T2 upgrade completes over here for Superintendent. He's just going to get straight on with that T2 P-Gen. No messing about there. None of this building sensitive power structures in safe locations. No, we're going to build them on the front line where our comm is for speed. To hell with the risk. I can respect that. Willow yields a bit of ground in the basin. Still has the units over on the southeastern plateau. Floppy gonna circumvent the forward group and engage a smaller group behind. Willow will respond. Where's he going with that commander now? He's completed the T2 upgrade, remember. Starts work on a PD and then gets moving once again. Obviously thinks maybe there's a better position for it, or maybe he's going to bring that engineer in to finish it off so he can get more work done with the commander. Looks like a bit of ground has been given there from Willow, and a little bit of ground being given from Superintendent up here as well. He is getting down some defenses though. Again, talking about the little headland down here, there's a similar shaped one, of course. It's almost a mirror image map, but they've gone to some trouble to make things relatively even, or as even as they can make it, but still with some geographical or topographical variation, so it doesn't all look completely mirrored, which is always nice, I think, as long as you get it right. But lots of Cerberus turrets going down here for Superintendent. Looking like he wants to secure this position and defend the obvious route into the main base area down here. I don't blame him. We had a little distance build right off the bat early doors from Will-O-Wisp up the side of the cliff here. And he's produced a few units, and that's what's standing in between laissez-faire and control of that plateau. They definitely don't want to hand that over. Almost 10 minutes gone. We haven't said much about eco so far. Let's take a look at the numbers. Total mass, Team 1 in the lead by about 1.8k, I'd say. 1.8, 1.9k. Slowly pulling away, it would seem. And that is with a deficit on generated eco, so obviously doing better on the reclaim side of things. And as you can see, when it swaps over to reclaim, 17k harvested from reclaim there for Team 1. That is double what Team 2 have brought in, who have been focusing their efforts on generated eco. Of course, the flip side to that means that there's a lot more probably on this side of the map still to harvest for Team 2, assuming they don't yield too much more in the way of territory. Laissez-faire has ideas on that as he brings a large army forward and then wheels up onto the plateau. Some Mantis lying in wait for Will-O-Wisp, protecting that hydro position. No hydro on it as yet, of course. But 2 mechs is operational behind it. They are probably going to go down now with the demise of that defending force. Indeed they do. And the factory over here still diligently working away on some engineer production. That is going to fall as well, I would imagine. Unless he ill-advisedly evacs before it goes down. Oh my goodness. No, he's like, I can't leave that there. A kill order given to a little force at the rear there. 5 tanks. Get that done, he says. And indeed, they do just that. T2 upgrade on the way for laissez-faire. 65% done. One Mantis got lost on the way back to his base for Floppy. So what are we at over here? So we've got T2 Air in play for laissez-faire. Still producing T1 interceptors out of it though. We're at T1 Air over here for Floppy, but he's gone for ground. So these two very much splitting the roles here early doors. We have T2 ground for Willow, and has Superintendent gone for T2 Air? It doesn't appear so. In fact, he is working on it as we speak. He's just a little bit behind the curve there. 85% done on that upgrade though, so he's nearly got it in play. and testing the waters with quite a sizable T1 ground force. Moves up and demolishes a T1 point defense, but Laissez-Faire, who's completed that T2 upgrade, goes straight for a triad. That's going to presumably force some of this spam back once Superintendent realizes he's under fire. And behind that, Laissez-Faire starts work on attack missile launcher. He's going to have to pause work on that because he's going to need his commander to step up defensive measures. Goes straight for some T1 PD construction. And brings in his own spam as well to shut this attack down. And shut it down he does very comfortably. You might want to just finish that. That's some 260 hit points off completion there. Meanwhile, Willow taking the opportunity to come up from the south and retake that left of center plateau. Down goes the land factory, and the 5 tanks we saw earlier hadn't moved. Behold my tickle guns, says Superintendent. There they are, and he's got a lot of them. Check out all of those Cerberus turrets. I am intrigued as to how hardcore he's gone on the defensive. 15 Cerberus turrets, that is borderline excessive. I'm all for a little bit of turtleage, but goodness me. Well, Laissez-Faire is going to need some serious firepower to break through there if he wants to push down this side of things. An easier option probably would be to pressure Willow from this side of things, or cut down through the central canyon over here with all of this force that's amassed for Superintendent. That is, of course, assuming that they can maintain the pressure here. Team 2, 3k up now in the lead on Eco, and that's being driven by much higher generated eco. There's some 25 or so points ahead. Let's see if the reclaimers caught up as well. Oh, it's 29k versus 19k, still favoring Team 1. Another forward move, but that breaks upon the coastline like a series of angry waves. Too many defensives there from Laissez-Faire. Maybe I should just be calling him Fairy. Might be easier. T2 mechs dies out down here, though. That will be a painful loss. And another vulnerable one here for Willow as well. 1,800 hit points to chew through there, but he's got enough Mantis to do it. Seems more concerned about pushing deeper, though. He's going to kill some engineers here. Can they get the point defense online? Yes, they can, in crucial timing. If they just managed to finish off those engineers before they could get that auto gun up, they could have done a little bit more damage there. We do now have T2 air on the field for Superintendent, as we can see a Corsair loitering at the edge of the map there. What have we got here? We've got a little Gunther battery going up for Floppy. Nothing floppy about that. That's positively turgid. What a wonderful word that doesn't get used anymore. Turgid. Combinations of mobile missile launcher fire and artillery emplacements means Willow has to move back from that shielded position. He's not going to be able to hold that. So far, forward momentum really is coming from Team 1. That's a lot of Corsairs that they're amassing up there as well. 10 fighter bombers for laissez-faire, just north of the middle. Queued up and waiting. A little air wing of T1 bombers. Looked like they were coming straight in for a bombing run there, but thought better of it. Guess he thought he didn't need it with the capitulation of the shield. Maybe that's what they were originally planned for. Oh, Zappa's going up on the ridge. Too late to protect that T2 P-Gen, though, that gets picked off by some attack missile fire. And so's the other one. What's that done to Willow's power grid? Well, he's still got his head above the water for the moment. 689 net positive. Oh, he's losing T2 mexes as well, though. He loses another one over there thanks to that bombing run from those T1 bombers we saw a moment ago. Floppy won't mind losing those. That would have been a suicide mission anyway. Look at this. This is wonderful harass from Team 1. Where is the TAC missile batteries? Where are the TAC missile batteries that are launching them? There they are. So it is that position we saw laissez-faire working on before. Finished that first one, built a second, and that's had some great success. Oh, but is he going to get sniped? In come the Corsairs that we saw Superintendent massing over in the west. Laissez-faire quick to respond with his interceptors and get his comm on the move. Starts work on a shield gen and also goes straight for the canyon wall to try and force some cover. Oh, almost in the red. 3,600 hit points left. Wow, that was a close one. Few more fighter bombers and Team 1 would have been a man down. That really would have turned this game around. And after that TAC missile barrage down here, the assault on Willow in multiple locations. Team 1 are once again ahead in generated eco. And have almost, in fact, have caught up now in total mass. 161k apiece. This is an absolute nail-biter so far. Willow about to lose this little ridge up here. As we said, potentially an important area to defend against. Don't want your opponent getting control of that and putting pressure on this entire basin down here. Superintendent still working on expanding power grid. How's Willow doing? Oof. Still not a lot of power to spare on his side of things. Fighter bombers massing for Floppy. Laissez-faire working on reactor number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now. And almost complete for a T3 land factory. So T3 tech nearly emergent in this game. There's another attack bruise over here. Laissez-faire engaging with his spam. And he's got a lovely mix here of pillars and parashields. And so far facing off against mere T1 spam. And then there are mobile missile launchers over here to the northeast as well from Floppy. Willow's got no option but to back off slightly. Superintendent repositions down here. Doesn't need to keep his spam up near his base. I think he's got enough defenses in place to cover that right now. But he's at T3 land as well. Engineers out on the field, still building defenses in various places. Laissez-faire looking like he's gearing up for another probing attack. Lots of mass to be hoovered up in this basin down here. Team 2 have just been under siege almost the entirety of this game. That's a nice little place to erect some defenses. Tickled cannons going up on the ridge. Give you an idea of how far they can reach. Just about to there. Floppy rolling in with some rhinos now. Probably wants to steer clear of that defensive position. But now we're going to see some pushback as bricks emerge on the scene down here for Team 2. Will-O-Wisp just lining them up. Superintendent's forces over in the west beginning to crumble. They really do want to skirt the cliff edge up here to stay out of the zone of attack from these Cerberus turrets on the ridge. Good shadowing by Willow, but needs to stop there, otherwise he might find himself out of position. Vipers up here on this little plateau, just firing down on these defenseless units down here. How's the fighter bomber massing going? It doesn't seem to be producing them anymore. Switching it up to interceptor production instead. And checking out kill-loss ratios. Laissez-faire over 2. That is extraordinary. And Floppy over 1 as well. Superintendent way down on 0.29. Definitely needs to pick that up. But stands a good chance of doing that now that he's jumped forward to T3 Tech. Some bricks on the scene on the front line for him now. And we've got a Monkey Lord queued up once he completes that ion reactor. I wonder if that'll be the first experimental we see completed on the field and deployed. Not seeing any others under construction as yet. Little group of hives going down here for Willow. This has actually been quite a strong hold for Team 2. They've really turtled up down here, and considering it's a Cybran duo, that's no mean feat. Team 1 not capitalizing on the extra territory that they've gained. They are not massively outdoing Team 2 at all in terms of eco. They've scooped a little bit of extra reclaim recently, so they're about 5.5k ahead, maybe just a little bit more. Bricks roll out for Willow. Try to force those Vipers back a little bit and give himself some breathing room. He's lost one of the land factories down here, but these are all T1 at the moment, just producing supplementary spam. What are they planning down here for Team 2? We don't have a plan as far as I can see. Got 5 Corsairs for snipe. 8 Corsairs enough? Surely that's from earlier on in the game. But recently, okay, I think it'll work. Ooh, curious, what will work? That's a little bit of artillery fire. Where's that coming from? Has he got some Gunthers down here? Or is that mobile artillery? That would be a Gunther attached to a P-Gen for a little rate of fire increase. Sometimes just the one is all you really need to cause some problems. Poor little engineer. Just as his job completes on that one mech, so it gets blapped. Is that Percival's being airlifted to the front? We have some in play already, but that looks like 3 more coming to join them. And this really could be a danger for Team 2. Where is that Monkey Lord? Well, it's a long way from completion, mainly because he's not able to focus on it 100%. He's still working on more hives and another iron reactor. Getting up to some way to about a third of a complete Monkey Lord there, but he might just be out of time. Laissez-faire advances with shielded Percys and what is quite frankly a lot of them. There are bricks here ready to defend. It's a less than perfect engage for Laissez-faire as they funnel into a bit of a point there coming into this narrow canyon section. Remember, of course, we've got this little fire base up here on the ridge. But Laissez-faire, undeterred, is going to continue to press. Bricks starting to drop in number. That massive alpha strike from those Percivals doing their job. Crucially as well, he's got pillars and T1 spam in here to counter Willow's T1 spam. Firebase doing what it can, but unfortunately that ridge affording great protection into the basin here for Laissez-faire's forces. Only 6 or so parashields, maybe 7 left in operation. More Percivals being airlifted to the front all the time though. And Willow in full retreat, but he's got his comm out on the ridge, spamming up more point defense. He's got the T3 engineering suite on there, so they're going up very quickly indeed. And this is where the tower defense style gameplay in SOPCOM comes to the fore. That's a long old route around the houses and into Willow's base that Laissez-faire is going to have to travel, and his forces are getting fragmented. He's got a secondary group up here that he's not sending in. Willow moving his comm away from the ridge there. Now, where are they headed? They're going straight into the main base. It looks like the target might actually be the bottom right hand corner instead. Although it could be a case of Floppy and Laissez-faire's forces diverging here. Looks like Floppy's heading in towards Willow's base, and look at all the build capacity in there. Busily erecting defenses. That is going to be very difficult to counter, not only now but going forward. You're going to get this line of defenses which will be a brutal assault for Team 1 should they try it again. It looks like they have a possibility of winning in the southeast corner though. Cerberus turrets defending the northern entrance, swiveling round to fire on units coming up from the south. Trouble is, the Percivals have now arrived. Shield goes down, and the T2 point defense will not be far behind it. Just bulldozed. And that is a solid win on the ground in the bottom corner there for Team 1. Monkey Lord out up here at the top. In fact, two of them. One for Willow, one for Superintendent. Looks like during that encounter down there, we've had a pretty solid battle up here in the middle. But there is now a defending Monkey Lord in play as well for Floppy, at least. Very important too, because Laissez-Faire's comm in residence down here in the basin on the front line. Where are those spider bots heading now? Well, it looks like they might be splitting up. Superintendent's heading further south to defend against this new one moving in from Floppy. And the other one for Willow heading north, trying to get some kind of penetration. Very large air wing of scout planes. Getting a good read on what's happening in the middle of the field. Neither team committing their Monkey Lords in that exchange. But this is a pretty solid commitment. That Monkey Lord very far forward, and if they have any kind of Corsairs or gunships lying in wait, that is an easy target, but it doesn't look like they do. A strategic missile defense going up. That's the view from Laissez-Faire, if he's looking at that side of things. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. If you're rooting for Team 1, this is what they refer to in our industry as bad times. There are the Corsairs. There's a decent number of them, actually, and a decent number of Janus that were hiding somewhere from Laissez-Faire. But even with that pass, it's still got about 2/3 of its HP, and it's going to unleash untold devastation. It takes out the strategic missile defense as well. It's taken out all of the Tech 3 reactors. It's still going. It's got potential another Rankin Vet if it can get enough kills in, but I don't think it's going to. Too much fighter bomber coverage. Down it goes, but look at that. T3 land headquarters, 3 or 4 T3 reactors, God knows how many T2, a strategic missile defense. That is really bad, and they had time to counter that too. They weren't paying attention. It's hard, of course, with the Monkey Lord and its personal stealth, but that is an error of intel and scouting there. Had they spotted that earlier, that could have been avoided. But lovely work from Willow. And another attack down here. And what did we say a moment ago? How crucial will these fire bases be once they've gone up? It'll be yet another hurdle. Future attacks will have to get over on their way to the main base. Laissez-Faire, though, having been untouched up here throughout this game, was completely defenseless against that Monkey Lord. And now there's another 2 Monkey Lords here belonging to Superintendent. There are a lot of Percys in residence, though. How many times have we seen a solid group of Percys blap down a Monkey Lord like it's nothing? Their outrageous alpha strike. Is it still just one Gunther in there? I think it probably is. Now, where does that leave us on the eco side of things? Team 1 still ahead by a considerable margin on generated eco, which is surprising to say the least after that very successful attack up the western approaches there from Willow. Team 1 some 70k up in total mass accrued. And look at the reclaim figures as well. Massive advantage there. They've been much more proficient on that side of things. Tactical missile launcher harassing this little group of T1 factories that have sprung up in the basin down here. Basin still arguably, I do stress arguably, was, I should say, under control for laissez-faire, but it looks like it's about to change hands once again as laissez-faire repositions some of his build capacity over to the bottom right-hand corner. Could definitely afford to set up shop down there, although wouldn't take much for a few of these bricks to break off and come and clear that back out as well. Well, actually, having said that, that's a pretty sizable force. T3 upgrade on the way over there. Hello! A complete nuke launcher, 60% done on a nuke, and of course we saw the demise of the strategic missile defense up here, which was, I think, if not complete, then very close to it. Do they have anti-nuke anywhere else? That's the question. If not, this could be a devastating turn of events for Team 1. Once again, a very sizable land force out from laissez-faire pushing through the mid. Gearing up to run that gauntlet in towards Willow's base once again. But if he can get that operational and it's flying up very quickly, that could be invaluable. A megalith, which is absolutely flying up. He'd stockpiled a lot of mass for it, that's for sure. Having troubles keeping up with the power demands of building it, though. But it's not going to matter. It's about to complete. And not before time. He's got an operational Monkey Lord in here. He's got a lot of bricks guarding the entrance, the back entrance, the only entrance onto his plateau. Hindsight, a better way in would have been to try and win air and then drop onto this plateau, I think, and hit it from this side. Would have taken some preparation, though. But look at this now. All of the intel. Oh, and there goes a nuke out from Superintendent, and it's going straight towards the main base of Floppy. Where's Floppy's comm? His comm is down here. It's on the move. It's worried that it's coming towards him. He completed an anti-nuke, but it's nowhere near loaded. The push towards Willow's base continues, but the nuke will connect. The main base is gone for Floppy. Absolutely vital now that they get some work done over here. Megalith has taken a decent amount of damage thanks to that Monkey Lord. Most of the inbound fire is getting blocked by the natural defenses of the cliff edge over here. But look at the sweeping defensive laser from the Monkey Lord over here. It's going to move forward. It wants to kill off that badly damaged Monkey Lord belonging to laissez-faire. Locks onto him. Don't want to take your eye off the ball. It's going to win that exchange, but there's another Monkey Lord here. That Monkey Lord should win, although it's under megalith fire now from the main plateau. Down goes the Monkey Lord belonging for Willow. But Floppy's monkey is close behind it. Still a lot of operational spam, though, here for Team 1. The defenses down here is nearly gone. But there's another Monkey Lord coming in from the west now from Superintendent. That could be absolutely huge. Defensively speaking, Team 1 must get a big win here. Must demolish this base. Kill Willow if they can. Absolutely vital. Willow still under shield coverage over here. The shields, of which there are many, holding. And in fact, Willow evacing his comm. That's almost a risky play at this point, but I think it's probably sensible. He's seen it. Floppy activating his Air Force, but I think he's going to be on the ground long before those planes get there. Will his base survive? It's doing pretty well so far. 3 defensive experimentals just cleaning house. Will he manage to hold on to his T3 land factory? That would be an enormous boost to their campaign if he can. Down goes Willow's Monkey Lord. But it doesn't matter. He's kept the megalith. And it's actually regenning nicely on 64,000. Getting some assistance from the hives over here. And of course that Monkey Lord belonging to Superintendent still alive and well also. That is a massive win on the ground. Managing to fend off that attack. And here comes a second nuke for Superintendent. Has he got the anti-nuke loaded? It's not loaded! His comm is in the area. Oh my word. It's so close to being loaded as well. He's got everything on it that he can. But I don't think it's going to load in time. No, Floppy doesn't even bother to move. Nearly loaded, he says. Ouch. That is very, very painful. As is the demise that is going to have to befall some poor fairy somewhere, because full share is on, of course. Does mean that it is probably a 2v2 ladder. Of course, it could be set up at the lobby screen, so it could still be a custom. But Laissez-Faire will be hoping it's not him that will be succumbing to some painful demise. Thanks to the full share conditions. That cannot be guaranteed, however, especially not after that absolute serving they've just had around the back of Willow's base. And look at all of the mass down here as well that Willow can call on if he needs to. Willow, who's pulled in 22k, nowhere near the same amount of reclaim as Laissez-Faire, who's done 150k almost. That is redonkulous. Has managed to get out a fat boy. Willow gonna respond now with some gunships. He'd love to kill him off here. Lots and lots of gunships. They aren't whalers though, they're renegades, they're Tech 2. Lacking that really, really significant hit point buffer. They're almost through the shields though. Down goes the shield. They are clattering their fire on the Fat Boy chassis, but they are running out of gunships. ASFs hovering overhead, belonging to Laissez-Faire. Enough to tidy up the threat, and that Fat Boy will survive, albeit pretty badly damaged, down to about 45% of its base health. Receiving long-range artillery fire as well from over here. That's another solid Gunther battery from Willow, who's done a wonderful job turtling up down here in the southern portion of the map on this little plateau. It's actually a really fun map, this one. That is a vicious, vicious route into assault. They've gone after Willow, of course, as the higher rated player, the larger overall threat in the game. One wonders, though, if a push down this avenue and into Superintendent's base wouldn't have worked out better in the grand scheme of things, but hindsight is a wonderful thing, as we know only too well. 46, almost 47 minutes down. We're one player down, and Team 2, despite being nowhere near territorial majority. Nowhere near territorial supremacy in this game. They are in the ascendancy. I think it's fair to say that after that massive win down here and after these nukes as well. Another one out now from laissez-faire. Will this one get shot down, I wonder? Where is it headed? Well, it's headed straight over towards the middle, and the two fat boys looking very vulnerable against nuclear attack. Has he missed, though? Is it too far north? Our survey says... Well, technically it's bling, because that's two dead fat boys. Just feels like an when you see experimentals go up. But no, that was definitely a well-placed nuke. And another massive loss for Team 1. Mass fat boy production underway now for laissez-faire. He's just spat another one out and he's queued up 5 more. But they have a monkey lord shaped problem skirting in through their back door. Laissez-faire in hot pursuit with bricks and Percivals. And now going to work with some fighter bombers. Oh, but this does not look good. He hasn't got the defenses lying in wait because all of the pressure this game has been applied against Team 2. So when it finally comes, Team 1 just woefully unprepared for it. Exactly the same situation as we saw up here. In come some broadswords. They're going to start hacking chunks out of this thing. But can they protect all of these structures in the backfield over here? One T3 mech's down. Down goes another. Another nuke out. But this time it's going in the opposite direction. Laissez-faire gets one off. And that is heading down towards Willow. Willow's base down here. He has got anti-nuke, but that's empty as well. He's evac'd his comm over here, remember. And they finally managed to take out this base. After all of it. That's how they managed to get it. And now Whalers brought inbound. Going up against laissez-faire's middle base. Over here, attack pings going down on top of the comm. Where's the defensive air force? He's bringing in his gunships to try and defend. They're not great in such a situation, but he capitulates and throws out the Control K. Superintendent with the GG. He could have fended that off, potentially. Although there were Corsairs coming back in, but it was very, very clear the direction of travel. There was no way he was going to be able to win out, I don't think, after that. Magnificent play from Team 2. An all-Cyberian turtleage affair. You don't see that every day. That's for certain. And that would be even if I was uploading every day, which obviously I'm not. But I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Don't forget, if you've seen everything and you want to see more, we've got the Patreon. We've got some 36 casts on there now for premium viewing only, but for a mere $1 a month. What is that? That is absolutely nothing. It's a drop in the ocean. So go check that out, guys. Link in the description below. Each dollar helps me and my family. You're literally supporting a small business, goes towards guitar lessons, ballet lessons, whatever, football kit, you know, all of the things that I have to shell out for because I made the decision to have children. Not bitter at all. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. And until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.